In the long history of the 21st century, few institutions shaped the digital frontier with as much foresight and influence as the Manhattan AI Regulatory Enclave, known to the world as MAIRE. Established in 2035 in the heart of New York City, MAIRE stood as a bold declaration that artificial intelligence could no longer grow without boundaries or meaningful human oversight. It was created during a time when the world began to realize that unchecked technological acceleration carried risks as great as its revolutionary promise. From our vantage point in 2050, MAIRE now appears not just as a regulatory body, but as a turning point in humanity's relationship with intelligent machines. Before MAIRE existed, the early 2030s were marked by a sense of digital chaos spreading across industries and borders. Artificial intelligence, once celebrated as a liberating breakthrough, had begun to reveal its darker and more unpredictable side. Unregulated trading algorithms distorted global financial markets, triggering sudden fluctuations that no human could fully explain or control. Highly advanced chatbots flooded online spaces with persuasive misinformation, blurring the line between truth, fiction, and automated manipulation. Autonomous systems were increasingly entrusted with critical decisions, yet their reasoning processes remained opaque and difficult to audit. Public fear grew steadily as people questioned whether AI was becoming a force beyond human governance, rather than a tool serving society. Citizens and scientists and ethicists began raising urgent alarms, warning that innovation without safeguards could destabilize entire social systems. News headlines were filled with stories of biased algorithms, invasive data harvesting, and automated decisions that harmed vulnerable communities. Trust in technology eroded, and the demand for meaningful AI regulation grew louder across continents and cultures. Amid this growing uncertainty, New York City made the historic decision to take responsibility rather than wait for slow global consensus. As a world center of finance, media, and technology, New York understood that its influence gave it both power and obligation. The city's mayor at the time, Eleanor Vance, proposed a radical vision that would change AI governance forever. She imagined a regulated innovation zone, a controlled environment where artificial intelligence could evolve safely under strict oversight. This idea challenged traditional regulatory thinking by embedding supervision directly into the geography of innovation itself. Manhattan was chosen as the physical and symbolic center of this ambitious experiment in technological accountability. From Wall Street's financial nerve center to Silicon Alley's tech startups, the island became the testing ground for responsible AI development. By placing MAIRE at the heart of global capitalism, New York signaled that ethics and innovation must evolve together. In 2034, the MA Act was passed with rare bipartisan support, reflecting the urgency of the moment. The Act granted MAIRE independent authority to license, audit, and penalize AI systems operating within the enclave. It introduced strict requirements for transparency, data protection, and rigorous safety testing before deployment. Soon after, the MAIRE Council was formed, bringing together experts from computer science, law, ethics, and economics. Their mission was to translate legislative principles into detailed, enforceable frameworks that balanced innovation with protection. The early years were challenging, as many technology firms feared that regulation would suffocate creativity and competitiveness. Legal disputes emerged as MAIRE asserted its authority, but each ruling clarified its power and strengthened its legitimacy. Gradually, resistance gave way to cautious cooperation as companies recognized the value of public trust. MAIRE's regulatory philosophy rested on four essential pillars, guiding every decision within the enclave: ethical alignment, ensured AI systems promoted human well-being rather than narrow corporate interests. Data privacy rules strictly controlled how personal information could be collected, stored, and analyzed. Algorithmic transparency required systems to be explainable and open to independent auditing. Accountability frameworks clearly identified who was responsible when automated decisions caused harm. To enforce these principles, MAIRE developed advanced testing environments known as secure AI sandboxes. Within these controlled digital spaces, algorithms could be stress tested without risking public infrastructure. Every system had to prove its reliability and safety before earning approval for real-world use. Far from slowing progress, the structure attracted companies eager to build trustworthy technologies. The label MAIRE Certified soon became a global symbol of responsible and high-quality AI. Investors and customers alike place greater confidence in systems developed under MAIRE's supervision. Public trust, once severely damaged, began to recover as oversight replaced uncertainty. Also addressed fears of job displacement by funding retraining programs for workers affected by automation. In 2002, MAIRE confronted algorithmic discrimination in a public services system that unfairly targeted minority communities. Its intervention led to mandatory bias audits and recalibration standards that reshaped AI fairness practices worldwide. 3 years later, MAIRE prevented a looming financial disaster caused by a malfunctioning high-speed trading algorithm. By isolating and neutralizing the rogue system, MAIRE protected global markets from a potential cascade of collapse. These high-profile successes cemented MAIRE's reputation as both regulator and guardian of digital stability. Governments around the world began studying the Manhattan model, hoping to replicate its balance of safety and innovation. International treaties and cooperative AI zones were inspired by the principles first tested within MAIRE. Still, MAIRE faced critics who warned that heavy oversight could drive talent to less regulated regions. Debates about freedom versus control continued, shaping the evolution of MAIRE's policies. Rather than resist change, MAIRE adapted, refining rules to stay aligned with technological progress. The rise of quantum AI and brain-computer interfaces introduced entirely new ethical challenges. MAIRE responded with updated protocols and global research partnerships to address emerging risks. By 2050, MAIRE had evolved into a dynamic institution capable of guiding multiple generations of technology. Its presence transformed Manhattan into not only a financial capital, but a fortress of ethical innovation.